6 submarines, 4 frigates, 2 dry docks, 1 underground pen carved into the limestone cliffs of Sevastopol's southern bay. This was the most protected naval facility in the entire Black Sea theater. Reinforced concrete walls 3 meters thick, blast doors rated to withstand a direct hit from a 500-kilogram bomb, underwater entrance channels masked by anti-torpedo nets. Russia believed this facility was untouchable. They were wrong. The submarine pen at Sevastopol had survived every war since the Cold War. Soviet engineers had built it in the 1960s as a hardened shelter for ballistic missile submarines. The facility extended 200 meters into the cliff face, with internal docking bays large enough to service 3 submarines simultaneously. Above the waterline, maintenance shops, weapons loading cranes, and crew quarters were buried under meters of rock and concrete. The only vulnerability was the entrance channel, a narrow passage 40 meters wide where submarines surfaced before entering the pen, and even that was defended by coastal artillery, electronic warfare systems, and a dedicated Panzer battery positioned on the cliff above. Ukrainian military intelligence had been studying the facility for months using satellite imagery, intercepted communications, and data from agents operating inside the city. They knew the rotation schedule. They knew which submarines were in port and which were at sea. They knew that every 3rd week, the maintenance cycle required 1 submarine to be partially surfaced inside the pen with its hull exposed for inspection. During that window, the blast doors remained open for up to 16 hours. That was the gap. The strike package was unlike anything Ukraine had used before. 12 long-range kamikaze drones, each carrying a 40-kilogram shape-charged warhead, launched from 3 separate locations in central Ukraine. They flew different routes at different altitudes, converging on Sevastopol from 3 compass points simultaneously. The idea was simple: overwhelm the air defense. Not all 12 needed to get through. Even 3 would be enough. The drones launched at staggered intervals beginning just after midnight. The first wave of 4 crossed into occupied territory, flying at treetop level, following river valleys and terrain contours to avoid radar detection. Their flight path covered over 600 kilometers. At an airspeed of 180 kilometers per hour, they would reach Sevastopol in approximately 3.5 hours. The second wave launched 40 minutes later, taking a coastal route over the Black Sea. The third wave departed last, flying the most direct path at higher altitude. These were the decoys, designed to trigger Russian air defense radars and pull interceptors away from the real attack axis. Russian air defense operators detected the third wave first. 2 S-400 batteries south of Simferopol locked onto the high-altitude contacts and began engaging. 2 drones were shot down over the central Crimean steppe. A third was hit by a Pantsir system near Bakhchisarai. The 4th drone in the decoy wave was struck by electronic warfare jamming and crashed into a field. Russian commanders reported the attack neutralized. Sevastopol command received the all-clear message. They were looking at the wrong drones. Which attack axis is the most dangerous? The one you see or the one you don't? Think about it. The first wave was still 60 kilometers out, flying below the radar horizon at an altitude of 15 meters above the water. 4 drones in a loose formation, separated by 2-kilometer intervals, skimming the Black Sea surface. Their navigation systems had switched from GPS to terrain-following radar to avoid jamming. The sea was calm. Visibility was 0. Overcast skies, no moon, light fog rolling in from the southwest. Perfect conditions. At 3:27 in the morning, the first drone crossed the outer harbor of Sevastopol. It passed between 2 anchored cargo vessels and entered the military basin. The Pantsir battery on the cliff detected it at a range of 4 kilometers. The operator attempted to engage. The system fired 2 missiles. Both missed. The drone was too low, too slow, and too small for the Panzer's tracking radar to maintain a stable lock at that angle. The fire control computer had been optimized for fast-moving cruise missiles at medium altitude. A drone flying at 15 meters and 180 kilometers per hour was at the edge of its engagement envelope. The first drone struck the left blast door of the submarine pen. The shaped charged warhead detonated on contact, punching a hole through the reinforced steel door and sending a jet of superheated metal into the interior. The blast door buckled inward. It did not collapse entirely, but the damage was enough to jam it in a partially open position. Secondary fires ignited inside the pen from diesel fuel stored in maintenance bays near the entrance. Stay with me. The first drone was just the door opener. What follows is the reason Russian naval commanders lost sleep for weeks. 45 seconds later, the second drone arrived. It flew directly through the gap created by the first impact. Inside the pen, the drone's onboard camera captured a brief image before detonation. The hull of a Kilo-class submarine, partially surfaced, scaffolding erected along its port side, maintenance lights still burning. The shape-charged warhead detonated against the submarine's outer hull, just forward of the sail. The explosion ruptured the pressure hull and ignited hydraulic fluid inside the vessel. Fire spread through the forward compartments within minutes. The third drone struck the cliff face above the pen entrance, targeting the Pantsir battery that had failed to intercept the first wave. The explosion destroyed the launcher vehicle and killed or wounded the entire crew. The fourth drone hit a communications relay station on the roof of the facility, severing the hardline connection between the submarine pen and Sevastopol Naval Command. For the next 37 minutes, the submarine pen was cut off from the command network. Inside the pen, chaos. Fire crews attempted to reach the burning submarine, but the damaged blast door blocked vehicle access. Smoke filled the interior cavern within minutes. The ventilation system, designed for peacetime operations, could not handle the volume of toxic fumes from burning diesel, hydraulic fluid, and composite materials. Personnel evacuated through emergency tunnels carved into the rock. The submarine crew abandoned ship. The fire burned for 11 hours before it was brought under control. The second wave of 4 drones arrived 18 minutes after the first. By this time, every air defense system in the Sevastopol area was on full alert. Searchlights swept the harbor. Pantsir and Tor systems were scanning at maximum sensitivity. 2 of the 4 drones were shot down over the outer harbor. A third was hit by small arms fire from a naval vessel. The 4th drone evaded all defenses by flying behind a departing tugboat, using the vessel's radar signature as cover. It struck a fuel storage tank on the eastern pier, triggering a fire that spread to an adjacent ammunition handling area. Secondary explosions continued for over 2 hours. How many Russian naval assets were damaged in this single night? A. 1 submarine. B. 2 vessels plus infrastructure. C. The entire Sevastopol maintenance capability? The answer comes at the end. Satellite imagery captured the next morning told the story. The submarine pen's left blast door was destroyed, hanging from a single hinge. Black smoke stains extended 50 meters up the cliff face. The Kilo-class submarine inside the pen showed visible hull damage and fire scarring along its forward section. The Pantsir battery on the cliff was a burned-out wreck. The fuel storage fire on the eastern pier had consumed 3 tanks and damaged 2 others. The ammunition handling area showed blast damage consistent with low-order detonations of stored naval mines. Russian naval operations at Sevastopol were disrupted for weeks. The damaged submarine required dry dock repairs that the facility could no longer provide. The pen's internal crane system had been damaged by fire, and the blast door could not be closed, eliminating the facility's hardened protection. The submarine was eventually towed to Novorossiysk for repairs, a journey that exposed it to potential attack during transit. The loss of the Pantsir battery left a gap in the port's close-in air defense that took 9 days to fill with a replacement system brought by rail from central Russia. The answer C. While the direct damage was to 1 submarine, 1 air defense system, and port infrastructure, the cascading effect disabled Sevastopol's ability to service and protect its submarine fleet. The submarine pen, the most hardened naval facility in the Black Sea, was rendered operationally useless by 12 drones carrying warheads that cost less than a single torpedo. Total estimated cost of the drone strike package, approximately $300,000. Estimated damage to Russian naval infrastructure, exceeding $800 million when including the submarine repair costs and operational disruption. The tactical lesson is devastating in its simplicity. Hardened facilities are designed to withstand specific threats: bombs, missiles, torpedoes. They are not designed for swarm attacks by expendable platforms approaching from multiple vectors at extremely low altitude. The submarine pen survived decades of theoretical nuclear targeting scenarios. It could not survive 12 commercially derived drones with 40-kilogram warheads. Was the 12-drone saturation approach the right choice? Or could fewer drones with larger warheads have achieved the same result? Could Russia have prevented this by keeping the blast doors closed during maintenance? What would you have done differently? Sevastopol harbor is quieter now. The submarine pen stands with its doors jammed open, a monument to the limits of Cold War engineering in the age of drone warfare. The scaffolding inside has been removed. The burned submarine is gone, towed away under cover of darkness. The cliff face still bears the scorch marks. And somewhere along the Ukrainian coast, drone operators are studying the next target, calibrating the next approach route, and loading the next shaped charge. Because the Black Sea belongs to whoever controls the drones above it, and right now that is not Russia.